Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 10About Town podcast. I'm Robin Wilhoit, sitting in for Brittany Bailey, who is on her way to get married. We're wishing her the best of luck. But as you always know, if you tune in, this is our time to really focus on some of the fun, exciting events going on in East Tennessee. And we are looking into the month of August as we are launching into it. And we're looking specifically at August 15th to the Hummingbird Festival at IAMS Nature Center. Here to tell us all about it is Paige Crane. Hey, Paige, good to see you.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
Okay, first off, you've been with IAMS for about a year now, you said?
That's correct.
What are you doing there?
I'm the education director, so I get to educate folks who come to IAMS, all the way from little tiny children to adults in all sorts of different programs.
Yeah, those big adults can be worse sometimes than those little tiny children.
They're
right?
great. Everybody's got something to learn.
Absolutely. Okay, but Hummingbird Festival, this is one of your signature events. Tell us about it.
It is. We're so excited to host the Hummingbird Festival on August 15th this year, so it's coming up in a couple Saturdays. And the reason we're so proud of Hummingbird Festival is because it's completely surrounded by conservation and education. People are going to have a lot of fun. There's art and science activities, but really helping people understand the conservation of a really unique species in our ecosystem, specifically the ruby-throated hummingbird. And so we designed a festival completely around that little creature.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that folks can expect when they come to the festival.
Well, so I'll start with something new that's happening this year, and it's actually happening in the nights before Hummingbird Festival on the 13th and the 14th, and it's an art exhibit in the woods. So we're working with local artist Lauren Strohacker to design an immersive art exhibit outside on our trails at the home site, and on those trails are going to be larger-than-life projected hummingbirds. And there's going to be 8 of them lining the trails, so people will get to experience these tiny little creatures way, way bigger than usual and in an artistic sense.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's Thursday and Friday night to get us kicked off for the festival on Saturday.
Okay, let's talk about the festival on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. So that Saturday festival is early. It's 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that's by design because we are looking for hummingbirds during that time. So yes, we have this wonderful marketplace with 50-plus vendors all surrounding hummingbird conservation and flowers. But the real main cornerstone of the event is a hummingbird banding station. Are you familiar with bird banding?
I have heard about it. We've done stories on it, but that's the extent of it. So explain what bird banding is.
Absolutely. So our partners at East Tennessee Avian Research and Seven Islands State Birding Park partner with us to have a hummingbird banding station in that moment at the festival. So they set up these really, really fine nets that help catch birds that are flying through the gardens and going from seed feeders and different plants. Those birds get caught in the nets, and then the scientists help extract them really, really carefully. And then with the bird in the hand, they're able to look at all different sorts of things about that bird. The age, the sex, the condition of that bird, maybe where they were before. Hummingbirds are currently migrating, and so by putting a little tiny band on a little tiny hummingbird's leg, when that bird is recaught in the future, maybe at our station or at a different one in even Central America, right, really, really far away from here, they can understand that bird's path. And then when we increase that up to population level, we can understand so much more about hummingbirds and our songbird species by knowing a little bit more about where they've been and what they were like when they were at those stations.
Why are hummingbirds so important?
They're just amazing. I mean, each species is important in their different ways, but hummingbirds have a very unique role in our ecosystem in that they're pollinators. So lots of people think that just bees are pollinators, but birds are too, right? And so they're drinking the nectar of flowers and then going on to the next one. And they also eat insects. People don't usually know that. And I'm a ruby-throated
mosquitoes? Do they eat mosquitoes?
If they can catch them, but they're pretty quick. Their
they
wings
need to get more of those.
Yeah, their wings beat like 80 times a second. So it's pretty absolutely, it's incredible what they can do.
Yeah.
And so those bird banding slots are 25 minutes long. They start at 7 a.m. and we'll finish the last one at 11:30. And I really suggest folks buy tickets to see that science in action in the moment and talk to the scientists who are really doing that work.
And when we're talking hummingbirds, we have one in our yard who we love watching. They are the tiniest of tiny birds. but they are mighty.
Yep,
as
and they're hard to
well.
watch. Absolutely.
Yes.
They're very quick. You might hear them chattering, but oftentimes they're already zooming off to their next flower.
Okay, so what can people do to learn more information about coming to the Hummingbird Festival, but also just IAMS in general?
Absolutely. By checking our website is the best way to get that information. All of the information is on an event on our website, as well as the webpage that gives folks as much information as they need about parking, arrival, tickets, and the activities that they can expect to do at the Nature Center that day. Our website is also the hub to get all the information about what we do throughout the year. And if you know anything about IAMS Nature Center, you know we're busy in the education, arts, volunteering, conservation. Any given day at IAMS, you'll find a lot of people out there enjoying the site.
Before I let you go, what can anyone do to bring those hummingbirds to your backyard, your front yard, that you can just witness the beauty of them? Are there things we can do that attract them?
Yeah, absolutely. There are many different types of plants that are native to Tennessee that attract hummingbirds, especially those really brightly colored flowers. And if you join us at Hummingbird Festival, our conservation manager, Joseph Bailey, is going to be talking about the things that you yourself can plant in your own yard.
Okay, everything you would ever want to know about hummingbirds coming up on the 15th of August. Paige Crane from IAMS Nature Center. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Sounds like it's going to be a great event. All right, well, here is Brittany Bailey. She's telling us about a fun concert that is backing a great cause. Take a look.
Well, today we are taking things out of the podcast studio to talk about a big anniversary of a big festival. We're talking about the 20th anniversary of Slim Fest, and here to talk more with us about that is the organizer, Steve Stiltz, and also one of the performers, Aicha, coming up. We're going to talk to you about that as well. So this is a big anniversary for you.
It is. This will be the 20th year and the grand finale. I started in '06, my 50th birthday, and you can do the math, but anyway.
You said grand finale, though.
Yes, I'm going to retire Slim Fest after August 8th.
Well, let's talk about how Slim Fest started and what it's all about for people who aren't familiar.
Okay, I guess to start with, in high school, I was about 70 pounds lighter, and my nickname was Slim. So for my 50th birthday, we decided we was going to have a birthday party and give to charity. And so I worked with Shop with the Cop. This went on for about 12 years. Since then, I've worked with Children's Advocacy Center, Maryville and Alcoa High School Boosters. The last 3 years, I partnered up with the Legends of Tennessee, and that's the UT football players, previous and former players that go to schools, work with the kids, and also go around to the rural areas across the state and work with the kids, not only catching footballs, kicking footballs with life lessons.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the performers, including one of your big performers this year.
Yes, I have Aicha. She and I hooked up last year, and she bared the heat out in the 90, 100-degree weather, so I'm giving her a break this year. We're going indoors too. I didn't mention Cotton Eye Joe in Farragut will be, again, August 8th. It starts at 5 o'clock with another entertainer, Joe the Show. And then about 8 o'clock, Aicha and her band will be on there. So I'll let her tell you a little about her.
Yeah, I would love to find out more about your music.
Hi, so Aicha is a classic rock dance band. We do an emphasis on the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Since I'm the lead singer of it, and I also play saxophone, because I mean, there's a lot of classic rock stuff with saxophone. So, and I actually used to play saxophone because I was a wind player. I played in band and orchestra, still play in oboe in the Knoxville Symphony, and so it's a very high energy classic rock band, and we do an emphasis on dance and the great female rock singers of the era, which we don't see out in the forefront anymore, but it's like people like Ann Wilson of Heart, Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, and we do a big mix of everything through the 80s, 70s, and the 90s, and the Cranberries, and it's just very, very fun, dance and entertainment oriented. And my bandmates decided to call it after me. We're like, there are so many bands with forgettable names, and we're like, we need to get people to remember your name anyway, so let's do it. So we made a got a cool logo made, T-shirts, and yeah. So we've been doing that about 2 years as Aicha Band. I've been active in the scene. Literally, it's been about 20 years since I've been in Knoxville as a working musician. I did move here to be a classical musician in the Knoxville Symphony. I still play with them, but now I've got a lot more things going on. I'm juggling different projects. I've got a couple tribute bands as well, and I also do some jazz and musicals and other things on the softer side with some other musicians, like a piano duo, a classical guitar duo, and I even tribute French, Edith Piaf. I sing in a whole show in French. Wow. And yeah, I mean, I'm a classical musician. I have like my musical taste is all over the place, but Aicha then is definitely the group where I can just like let it all out, and they do everything that I always, wanted to do. I did dance classes when I was younger, and I just love to perform for people. I like to make them smile. I love to make them be like, go back and just remember good times and, do justice to the music. That's the biggest part is quality.
Well, it sounds like this is going to be a high energy performance, and that's probably why it's at Cotton Eye Joe this year, right?
Yes, Chuck Ward, a friend of mine, again, he invited me out, and excited. Don't have to worry about the forecast, but also we went ahead and tricked it up. We put some black lights in, so that's why I wore this. So if you're coming, wear something either white or bright, and we'll flash back to the 70s, 80s.
Do you know, you've been doing this now for 20 years. Do you know how much you've been able to help contribute to the various charities you've been involved with over the years?
I was making some notes the other day. I know it's been a few thousand kids that we benefited, and it's, hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been either in kind or have been donated for the youth charities. Everything I've always done has been for youth. I figure that's our future.
And remind us again of this year's beneficiary.
It is Saturday, August 8th, Cotton Eye Joe. Joe, the show starts at 5, Aicha's at 8. They'll probably make us shut it down about 11.
Make you maybe, but we'll see, huh?
Thank y'all.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and good luck. Break a leg at the show, as they say. And we appreciate it. 20 years, a big celebration.
Thank you very much.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming up on August 15th, we are celebrating the history of East Tennessee. It is a one-day celebration, if you will, and it's put on by a number of agencies, including the Knox County Public Library. Eric Dawson is the manager of the McClung Historical Collection, here to tell us more about East Tennessee History Fair. Eric, it's always good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So it's back for another year, but for those folks who aren't familiar with it, what is History Fair?
So the East Tennessee History Fair is something that the East Tennessee History Center, which does include the McClung Collection and the East Tennessee Historical Society and Knox County Archives, and TAMIS, Tennessee Archive Moving Image and Sound. We've been putting this on for, I think, a couple of decades. It used to be really sprawling. It would go over to Crouch Park. Of course, COVID came and we had to take a few years off. When we returned, it was rebranded as the History Hootenanny, but we're sort of taking it back now to the old school History Fair moniker, and we're going to be outside again. Crouch Park, of course, is, we're not allowed to have events there, but we will be shutting down Gay Street in front of the History Center, and Clinch Avenue and Market Street. So we're going to have stages and presenters and performers on throughout. And of course, the farmers market is also that day, so you can just stop there and then come on over and see us.
And that's the thing. It's a wonderful opportunity to really take in Knoxville present, East Tennessee present, but also the past. Why is it important for us to know about our past?
Well, of course, this year, as everybody probably knows, is the semi-quincentennial.
Yeah.
Can
Good for you for saying that, because I couldn't say that.
I have to read it. I couldn't say that.
Quincentennial.
Yeah.
Whatever.
the 250th birthday of the United States, of course. So it's kind of a good reminder to pay attention to our past. And, we do that every day at the History Center, and people come in to see. We have a current exhibit, is Lines Were Drawn. That's the feature exhibition, and it's about the Treaty of the Holston, which helped to found Knoxville. And so it's free during this year, because it's the anniversary. And then upstairs in the McClung collection, we help people with their genealogy. So, when people say, why is history important? A lot of citizens dictate that. A lot of people who are interested in it, it's important because I think the general public finds it interesting. And especially in Knoxville, where we have all this interest in historic buildings, there's always something in the news, right, about a new historic building that's possibly under threat or going to be torn down. So it's just important to know that history and to know the connections to actual people who lived in this city.
And this is something that it is not just for this subset or this, it's for everyone. It's important for everyone of all ages to be engaged and know their past, if you will.
Yeah, we're really proud of the programming the Historical Society does with children. We have school groups coming in quite a bit. There's, of course, a room there where kids can come in and do activities. And obviously on History Fair Day, we're going to have a lot of activities going on for children.
Yeah. Let's talk about, is there a price to this, or is this just come and enjoy? Tell us those details that people need to know before they head that
Sure
down.
thing. So we're right downtown. If you've never visited us, we're right downtown across the Tennessee Theater, which is great because they're a partner. They've been a partner for years. We show films there. TAMIS programs things. We're going to get started at 9 a.m. You can come on then, and wrapping up around 4 p.m. It's all free. We're going to have a music stage on Clinch Avenue with that. The Laurel Theater is programming for us, so it's going to be a lot of old-time music.
I was going to say, what kind of music can we expect?
Yeah,
That
Knox
would be
County
a
Jug
lot of fun.
Stompers. There's going to be
Yes.
an old-time jam. It's mainly focused on sort of old-time music.
Which Knoxville, when you think about, is known for. Our rich musical history is something worth celebrating and learning if you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of in conjunction with that, over at the Tennessee Theater, we've got at 11 a.m., we're showing this film called These Mountains Are Home. And back in 1976, which was, of course, the bicentennial, which was a big deal that the country celebrated, Alan Keller, who was the program director for WATE, if I'm allowed to talk about
Yes,
that.
you are, of course.
He produced this film called These Mountains Are Home. And he wanted to go up to the Museum of Appalachia and interview John Rice Irwin and talk to other people surrounding communities. We've got coal miners, we've got congregants from different churches, we've got craftspeople, singers, dancers, and he wanted to display the arts and crafts of the East Tennessee region and how important those were. And again, it's almost reads like a little proto-Heartland series in terms of how they engage with the local craftspeople. And then open house at the Tennessee Theater if you'd like to come and explore. That's always fun because people are sort of given free rein to look around there.
I was going to say, so you just go and you look
Yeah.
behind the curtain. You have that opportunity.
Behind the curtain, and you get to go into the dressing rooms. And then at noon, it's it's at 1, there's a program I'm really excited about called Remix the Past. And we gave the public the opportunity to take archival footage from Tennessee Archive Moving Image and Sound and create their own videos sort of commenting on their ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, these American themes. And so we've had these submissions from a dozen people or so, and we're going to show their films, how they've taken this footage that we have there and sort of remixed it. And then the day ends at 3 p.m. with a screening of 1776. I joke that it's kind of like Broadway at the Tennessee meets Summer Movie Magic, because of course that was a musical. It was based on a musical featuring Knoxville's own John Cullum in that role.
Yes, Tony Award winner and everything else in between. He's certainly amazing talent. That being said, it takes, in order to put on something like this, it really is an opportunity for different groups and nonprofits to come together to host something of this magnitude.
Absolutely. I mean, we do it every year, and we find funding from different sources. This year, as I said, we were lucky to get the 250th. There was money available for that, so we got it from them. But without partners like the Tennessee Theater, I mentioned the Laurel Theater, just other, the library and the Historical Society together are great. Home Federal Bank is a big sponsor of the Downtown Alliance. So we're really fortunate to have these partners, not just during this weekend, but throughout the year.
Real quickly, where can people go to find more information?
Well, you can go to the East Tennessee Historical Society's website. You can go to the library's website. Obviously, we have Facebook and Instagram presence for both of those. So take a look there, and you can see the schedule. There's a lot going on. Like I said, we've got things going on outside on 3 different streets. We've got lectures going on in the auditorium, and we've got movies at the Tennessee Theater. So, your head might spin, but you should come in and check some of it out.
Pick and choose where you want to go and make a day of it for
That's
sure.
right, yeah.
Eric Dawson, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for sharing us this information on the East Tennessee History Fair. Looking forward to it on the 15th.
Thank you so much.
Well, here is Michelle Silva with another event that is sure to have some folks tickled pink.
Need some help before you say I do? If you do, you're not alone. On August 9th, there's a special event for the brides and grooms-to-be. The Pink Bride Wedding and Women's Expo runs from noon to 4 at the Knoxville Convention Center on Henley Street. It offers everything for those just starting to make their plans or tying up loose ends. Wedding parties can sample wedding cakes, get decoration advice, and find the best dress to say yes. For more information, visit pinkbride.com.
Coming up on August 8th, hundreds of school-age children will converge on Covenant Health Park, and they're going to have so much fun. But the best part about it is when they leave, they will leave with backpacks full of supplies and a new pair of shoes to start the school year. It is the Shoes for School campaign, hosted by the Knoxville Area Urban League, and we're so pleased to have with us today Dr. Laurie Shanderson, the president and CEO of the Knoxville Urban League. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a labor of love, isn't it, this event?
It is. It's 20 plus years in the making, and it's a way that we help the community in a very big way.
In a great way. Having volunteered a few times to see those smiles on those faces when they get those shoes. Let's talk about the need. There is a tremendous need.
There is a tremendous need, and this year the need superseded what we did last year. So there are almost 2,000 pairs of shoes that will be given away this Saturday, August 8th, at Covenant Health Park for the Shoes for School event. Last year it was about 1,200, so you can see we've grown exponentially since then. The need has grown exponentially.
The need has grown, and you are setting out the Urban League and volunteers and community to make a difference.
Yes,
in
everyone
those
is
lives.
mobilizing for this event.
And why shoes?
Shoes is just a part of it. The whole objective is to make sure that our children feel empowered and they feel comfortable when they go back to school. And we want to do anything to mitigate any challenges to their learning. And having a new pair of shoes, having new school supplies, these things actually take a burden off of the families and even the children.
And you talk about burden. It's so expensive right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to going back to school supply shopping and shoe shopping.
Yes.
How can the community support the Urban League in this venture? What do you all need from the community to make this another wonderful success?
Participation. Families should come, even though the shoes are already accounted for. There's still a bunch of school supplies that will be available. Haircuts, there'll be snow cones, there'll be some mascots there. So it'll be a great day for the family and for the children to be able to get school supplies. And I'd love for them to show up that way. And then the second way, of course, is by donating. Every pair of shoes that we provide to students is an expense for the Urban League. We try to raise as much money as we can, and definitely with the amount of shoes this year, we're hoping to close the gap. So anyone can donate to this event.
Where should they go if they want to donate or to volunteer?
They can contact us at www.thecall.org for more information.
It takes a community to come together for something of this magnitude, right? Let's talk about you. Let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
You have been on the job as the CEO of the Knoxville Area Urban League now for a year.
1 year, yes.
Let's talk about that year. Sum it up. Sum it up if you can in a sentence or two.
This has been a year of transformation. Yeah. Everything that's going on in our society and with our government needed that we were going to have to change to adjust to meet some of the needs of the community and to figure out how we're going to continue to meet those needs, given that a lot of nonprofit organizations are seeing less funding. and less philanthropic giving. And that's because purses are tight now, and organizations are really thinking about where they spend their money. The good news is the community and other partner agencies have been very responsive and helpful to us. So we're able to be sustainable in these times to continue providing services to the community that are so needed.
How are you having to rethink, pivot, change in order to meet the need that is out there?
You know, again, funding sources have been a challenge. It's been really challenging, but we work with many community partners that partner with us to provide programs so we can do that at lower costs. We never want to charge our participants any money unless we have to. And I think it's with the partnerships that we have and have been established prior to my arrival here that provide the opportunity for us to continue on.
How can people, Dr. Shanderson, get involved? Of course, we want to get involved with the Shoes for School, but beyond that, to be involved with the Urban
Volunteering at the Urban League, we always need volunteers for different things. And as we increase programming for the fall, we'll have great opportunities for people to get involved with our youth programs, with our health programs, with the different programs that we have.
Because let's talk about the Urban League. For people who maybe have heard of it but really don't know what it is, what is the Urban League?
The Urban League is a social justice organization that provides programming. And they seek to provide equity and parity by virtue of the programs that they provide. Our Urban League affiliate, which is one of 93 across the United States, has been in existence since 1968. So we're almost 60 years old of providing resources in the community. And our goal really is to ensure that the members of our community that need it the most are cared for, are seen, and have the resources they need to be successful.
What is your hope for the Urban League going into your second year?
My hope is that we continue to increase the programs that the community needs, that we look towards our community and not be prescriptive with what we want them to have, but to identify where they say, here's something that we need, and then our being very responsive to that. But also, a huge part of my goal is to provide education about social justice issues, about individual power and agency, and just make sure that we create citizens that are well informed about civic areas.
You hit on something, well informed. We need that. We live in a community in a time in which we are bombarded with information, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're well informed, correct?
Right. Absolutely. You know, I'm surprised, hard to admit, right? College prepared and everything. There's so much that I don't know about politics or about civics. And if you're empowered, you can make better decisions and leverage your individual power in certain ways. And I think that we've taken for granted that people understand and appreciate the power that they have and the nature of what their votes mean.
Well, before we wrap up, let's talk once again. Shoes for School.
Shoes for School. We are excited that agency partners and other local companies have come together to help us put together an event that has been successful for the last 20 plus years in providing shoes and school supplies for those children in our community that need it the most.
And at Covenant Health Park, and what better place to host, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Shanderson, as always, thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Finally, today, there will be plenty of eyes a-shining coming up Saturday, August 8th. Immaculate Conception Catholic Church will host its annual Irish Fest on the Hill. Joining us today, Father Charlie Donahue, as well as seminarian Andrew Umet. Thank you both for being here.
It's great to be with you.
Okay, we're ready to go. Irish Fest, bring it on.
It's been 19, there's been 19 years with 2 off for COVID. So this is Big 17. And it is an amazing event. I was telling Andrew, when you look at our physical plant at the tip of Summit Hill, you don't think you can fit 2 music stages, 3 giant tents, and 4,000 people. You know?
But you can.
You just don't, right? and then you do. And then it's over, and you're folding chairs. Like, how did this all just happen? And it all just happened because there's about 50 people working their butts off for months, making sure this great event happens.
And we'll get into the specifics of it. But Andrew, in the end, this is about community, bringing people together.
It is.
And why is that so important, especially in this day and time?
Yeah, I think I'm talking about, when we're talking about Christianity and our faith, sharing our faith together, I think people coming together and sharing that, sense of we are a family, and sharing a faith and coming together is very important. And so Irish Fest is bringing this aspect of different, cultures, different people coming together and just sharing a sense of we belong and we are going to have a wonderful time as Christians, but also as neighbors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what more to bring people together than we're talking about food, and we're talking about music and all those great things. Let's get the rundown on that.
Well, I guess the piece that's great about this too is that, and it has kind of a footprint in our world today, there was a time when the Irish were needed but not wanted, right? And built the railroads, and like a lot of people that come to Knoxville, they came and they loved it and they stayed. And a lot of these workers who had been itinerant up to this point came and stayed. And so this was part of that. It was going to be St. Patrick's Church, but there was a Immaculate Conception dogma thing. It's a inside baseball Catholic thing, and it's Immaculate Conception, and that's wonderful, right? But and the church faces the
outward,
right? And most churches will face like the boulevard,
right?
And that's all on purpose, as a way of reminding the Irish that you're here to stay. It's a way of also reminding other people that we're not going away, but also it's a time for us to just share it. If you ever get a chance to come by, there's an altar piece that is the Last Supper in marble that back in the 1870s, the mayor of Knoxville heard it was coming from Italy and asked if it could be displayed on Gay Street for a little bit, because nobody's going to go into the Catholic Church to go look at it. And so that's, again, a part of our history of just becoming acclimated. And like every culture that has a great cultural festival, this is just ours, And like
it's worth celebrating.
And it's worth celebrating, and it's worth welcoming anybody, And so,
what better way to welcome them than to give them some delicious food?
Yes. And so classic hamburgers and hot dogs, sure. The Reubens always sell out. There's a shepherd's pie, and actually the shepherd's pie is because it's 2022, and so there's a vegan shepherd's pie.
Of course.
As well as a regular shepherd's pie. Irish wraps, which is basically greatest hits, corned beef and hash in a burrito-y thing.
Very authentic. We're talking authentic.
Yes, very
there.
authentic.
Very.
People work their butts off for it. There's a lot of homemade desserts, and there's free water all day because it's hot. But there's also lots of different drinks from lemonade, tea, to beer, to Irish coffee, and as of last year, iced Irish coffee or regular. And
it's going to be summer, so there's some ice in there.
And then people come for the bands.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And they're all great, but somebody had the presence of mind to create Def Leprechaun. Right? And so that's usually a headline.
That right there is going to be the showstopper.
Yes,
No doubt.
and I know you know Nancy Brennan Strange as she's everywhere. She's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Drew and the Brule, Red-Haired Mary, Tracy Jenkins, Will McMorrin, Missing Goats, Jeff Nelson, Tim and Sherry on strings, the Gaelic Men's Sports Group, Irish Pipes and Drums, and everybody's favorite, the Tennessee Irish Dancers. That's all going on. And then from the part, as Andrew said before, with the church aspect, there is church tours, through it. And then there's even a 5 p.m. Mass for the Catholics. And I never thought that would work, but it works.
You know what? When it's meant to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It happens for sure.
Yes.
And once again, this is about celebrating the history, the people, and community in the end. A lot of work, though.
It's a lot of work.
Let's talk about how much work goes into this.
It's a lot of work, and a
Yeah.
lot of people who, if everything you know about the Catholic Church you saw on TV, right, you'd kind of forget that I'm sort of I sit in a chair and I have an office, and that's wonderful, right? But when I first came here, I'm Charlie Leo O'Shea Donahue. I could not be more Irish American, right?
100%.
And I got my rugby shirt and my collar on, and I go to the first planning meeting for my first Irish Fest. And the table full of people one of them actually said, "What are you doing here?" Because I guess being the new pastor, I'm the guy who could screw everything up.
Exactly. There's the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, can I stay? I want to be your salesperson, basically. Okay. And they're like, well, yeah, but it goes great. It's very organized, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It
And you
was
want to be
amazing.
a part of it.
And it was a great lesson in kind of leadership, so-called, right? To just, as a great Catholic who I do not know has said before, and true everywhere, I suppose, for all pastors, is the pastor's first job is to not interfere with the Holy Spirit's work in this church.
There you have it.
And there you have it.
There you have it. Yeah. And Andrew, you are new to Knoxville. You'll be here for the next year. Are you ready for the fun?
I'm
is to come?
I'm really looking forward to it because since I arrived here, Father Charlie asked me, would you attend the meetings? And so I go to the meetings, and as he said, to listen and to just observe what happens. And for sure, I offer prayers at the beginning and at the end of it. And there is a lot that people talk about in terms of preparation that have been privileged to hear, and looking forward to how that is going to unfold on Sunday. And there's a lot of good things coming up. Yeah. So looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. So give us the details.
Sure. This Saturday.
Okay.
This Saturday, 4 p.m. it starts.
4 p.m. Saturday.
And then it's going to end between like 9:30-ish and 10. Mm-hmm. And there's a silent auction going on as well with a lot of great things. That kind of wraps up around 8:30. Mm-hmm. But the band's times will be posted so people can come, and people come to hear a band and stay. Mm-hmm. People come early and stay.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids. There's a children's area where they do the face painting stuff and all that kind of things.
Right.
And it's super family friendly. It's pretty much anybody friendly. Kind of the tagline for our church, as we try to do this all the time, is all are welcome always.
You have a place.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Father Charlie, Andrew, thank you both so much. Lots to look forward to this weekend, and get a good night's sleep Saturday night.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
And that will do us for this week's 10 About Town podcast. Remember, you can catch 10 About Town every weekday at 4 o'clock. Stay with us. Streaming continues right after this.